Hey everybody, welcome back to month 11, week 2 of Discipline of the Month. This month we're talking about evangelism. If you remember from last week, we talked about the idea, the root of evangelism just being bringing the good news, especially the good news about God. And certainly we don't want to take away that does include bringing the good news of the gospel, but we also don't want to limit it specifically to a succinct description of what we think the gospel is. We don't want to shrink down the gospel into one bite-sized statement and leave off a whole bunch of other really important parts of it. So if you remember from last week in Just Do Something, we talked about any movement of God begins with prayer. And as we're beginning this movement of evangelism as a spiritual practice, that we would begin praying for people that God would bring into our lives that we could share the good news with. So if you remember, our theme from week 2, from months past, is taking it a little deeper. So now, trusting that the Lord has indeed tilled the soil and has placed relationships around you that are prepared to hear the good news, and taking it a little deeper, what I want to encourage us to do is build up enough courage to share parts of our story of how God has demonstrated himself faithful on our behalf, or come through in a clutch, or showed up in our lives in ways that are wild and unique and personal and radical. And to share those with people that we know, that we would be people who share the good news of what God is doing in our lives. So getting away from the idea of evangelism as telling people that they're sinners, God hates sin, and Jesus died for them, how about it, do you want to sign up? Instead of just bringing the good news and saying, I was feeling down and out, and this is how God showed up in my life. Or I was at a challenging place in life, and this is how God showed up in my life. I think you'll find much more traction around it. And also, we will grow in our intimacy with God as we continue to testify to his faithfulness in our lives and share that message with others. We'll see you back next week as we dig into week 3 of Discipline of the Month.